This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group, your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business, politics, medicine that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Lalita Kaul. Lalita, thank you very much for coming here. Before I ask you about what do you do, and I know you're a professor, I see a couple of books that you wrote, Obesity and the South Asian Diet. I always have an interest in South Asian diet. So your recommendation is not to eat the fried food from South Asian continent?
No, I have substitutes and there are so many other things. It's not to eat just not eat healthy food. There are other things also important.
Like what?
Like genes, genetically, Asians, we have narrow arteries and some of the small factors of cholesterol are high. And if you combine with the environmental factors, it's not, the fatty food, sedentary lifestyle, you can, have heart problems. So it's a combination of environmental factors which play a significant role in the South Asian health.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're a professor at Howard University, which is not that far from here, in the College of Medicine, as I understand.
Yes.
And what's your area of specialization? What area of research do you do? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm professor in College of Medicine, Howard University, Department of Community and Family Medicine. I have been there for over 30 years, and that's the time doctors didn't talk much about nutrition, diet. And first time I went, and they say, "Oh, you have PhD in nutrition, and you're going to tell us how to cook and bake." And I said, "No, I was hired to train ignorant physicians like you." And the next day, my phone was ringing. They wanted to give me to do grand rounds and everything, and thus began. I have in the area of teaching. I teach medical students from freshman to senior year, and I give residents grand rounds how to incorporate nutrition in their primary care, and I do research. I have
what's the area do you do your research in?
I have done I have had grants from NIH in prostate cancer and diet, and there was significant association. Then I had esophagus cancer, then I have had obesity, hypertension, and right now I'm doing more on obesity.
Now, tell us the audience, Dr. Kaul, most of the audience over here belong to South Asian continent, and that includes the whole spectrum of South Asia and Southeast Asia. What kind of food should they eat? How they protect themselves from the cancer and also from the other diseases, as you mentioned, and what your advice to them would be?
Well, if you're asking me specifically about cancer and relationship of diet.
In general, what the advice do you give it to them in terms of being a healthy, happy American?
Yeah, healthy, happy American. Healthy diet, more in fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables, less. It's not to say give up the meat if you like, but less in the plate. If you have a plate, half the plate should be vegetable, lentils or whatever. 1/4 should be your meat if you're a meat eater. The other 4/4 can be just cereal, other vegetables. So plus.
Oh, you forgot the dessert part. You don't recommend.
Oh yes, in fact, both of my books have the recipes for desserts. Like, how do you make a very kheer? I make a kheer, healthy kheer, which is tasty and healthy kheer. I've served at my parties, and when I told them what the ingredients were, they say, "What? We don't see the difference."
Okay.
So I give the instructions something you like, but it's healthy.
Healthy. So healthy means obviously to make sure you don't eat fattening food, to make sure you eat healthy diet, make sure you do exercise, make sure you do not smoke, you do not drink. Is that all those things also part of your diet?
Oh yeah, it's the whole overall.
It's a whole
when I see a patient,
here.
when I see a patient, I take first time 40 minutes of interview is the whole lifestyle. And if somebody they have to have a drink to relax. I will say, okay, how often do you want to drink? Every day? I'll try to incorporate all the foods they like. And then when they leave and they say, Dr. Kaul, this is the diet, I thought you'll get, yeah, this is your diet. It has to fit your lifestyle, something you like. It should not be a punishment. You can live with rest of your life. But every now and then we fall off little, we are humans, it's okay.
Now, obviously, you subscribe to the notion of the healthy diet and healthy living, and which incorporates the idea of the also your less drink and also moderate drink. Is that what you say? Moderate?
Yeah, I would say moderate drinking.
Moderate
if
drink.
You drink.
If you drink, obviously you're not a champion for advancing the cause of the hard liquor, which I don't think you will. Correct? But the lot of Indian American communities, because that's a part of the DNA, obviously have the lung cancers and the heart disease. And this is a wonderful thing you talk about, obesity. I want you to tell me a little bit about what triggered you to write this book, and what does the book says that can benefit our audience?
Well, the name of the book is Multidisciplinary Approach to Obesity. It's like it takes a village. There was a book written long time ago. So it takes many aspects, and there is no quick solution to losing weight. So multidisciplinary means it is diet, it's exercise, it's your lifestyle, and modification of these habits. If you drink, how much can you drink? Exercise, if you have never exercised, you start very gradually, and depending what chronic conditions you are, what kind of a diet, you keep the same food you like American, Italian, Indian, Pakistani, but within the same food. In fact, this book tells you how to modify the same food you are eating, and I do in my cooking, and you get the taste and you stay healthy. And we Indian Americans have to be careful because our arteries are very narrow, and they get easily filled with cholesterol, calcium, fat, and then once we get older, they start getting harder, and you begin to have symptoms of heart disease.
So if I was going to you talk about some kind of a curry. Let's suppose we make a curry, and the first ingredient of that curry will be, frying the onion with the butter. Do you recommend the butter? Would you recommend the olive oil, or do you recommend the vegetable oil? How do you fry that thing?
Oh, let me say, I do not recommend butter, but now they do make butter from olive oil.
Okay, is that right?
Yeah, they do make. And now what you can do if you are just frying onions is you can put it in microwave for a little while, it takes out the water, and then the paper towel squeeze it, then put little oil and saute it, to make the curry sauce. And you can use olive oil for sauteing, which is good, if you are deep frying vegetable oil, because smoking point of olive oil is, low.
Right.
So you can keep both. Now, for frying, there are alternatives. Some people who like fish, I'll say instead of deep frying, put little oil masala, bake it, and then make your curry and dip it in that.
Okay. So
I serve to my guests, they say, oh, it's great. I say, yeah, fish is not fried.
So it's all a matter of listening to you or learning from the process.
Modifications, yes.
So that's what you're saying, and you do not want them to get rid of all aspects of their diet, but
absolutely, because then they will throw the diet in the trash. So I got one life to live. I want to eat what I want to eat and live well.
So why did you write this book?
Well, my experience of about 30 years talking to my medical students, seeing thousands of patients. I get a lot of consults, Indian American, because if the doctor says you have diabetes, heart disease, you need to modify diet within your eating style. And from all that, I have published several papers in scientific journal. From all those experiences, from my family, friends who come for my advice, so I thought I should write a book. And this is meant also, it's in such a language that even physicians And believe me, physicians need very simple language when you talk diet. We do not have to give the patients, this scientific cycles and all that. They just want to know, doctor, should I take this fried potato? Should I take? If the doctor doesn't know where the vitamin C is, they say, well, look it up. And these days, patients are very well informed.
Yes,
and
that's what you want. You want them to be informed.
Yeah, but when they come, they should listen through a licensed nutritionist. Many people claim they are nutritionists and say, so we train the physicians because they want to hear it from physicians. If physicians are trained in diet and nutrition, so they will impart this thing.
So my question to you is that what are your recommendation based on your book to the Indian Americans who love to eat hot and spicy and fried food?
Hot and spicy
is not a problem. It's not a problem.
As hot you want to eat. Fried, just do substitutions.
Okay.
As I said, where it's possible, bake it. Where it is possible, saute it. And keep your diet low in fat, because high fat diet.
So that means you don't recommend people to eat big steak and potatoes.
No, to say, make a just carte blanche statement, don't eat steak and potato, and somebody loves it.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to take it, take once a week.
Okay, you obviously don't want them to eat every day.
Yeah, because even somebody likes a drink every day, 1 or 2. I said, well, can you drink 1? Are you okay? I'm a weekend drinker, okay, can you do it? So if you put your favorite foods in the diet, then compliance is very good.
Good
and
point.
When compliance is there, I see the results. By just watching some of the segments here, one person approached me in a party, said, well, I watched her, I lost 2 pounds. Well, everything is not a success story, but some are successful and some are difficult.
Now, my other question is, obviously you did not touch upon the weight part of that. The weight is obviously an important factor in maintaining a healthy diet and living also a little bit longer.
Of course, weight is very important. Again, to say that you don't have to be skinny skin, go in size 2, 4, as long as it's healthy weight.
Right.
Like somebody middle-aged and older person, you cannot suddenly, if I calculate, I tell my medical student, if you calculate this person is 180, by calculation should be 120 pounds, can never happen so. But if they lose 10% weight, their medication decrease, their stamina is better, they can walk up the stairs, they're not huffing. And you have to be very realistic. I see patients about 300 pounds. I'm not going to never see them 120, but even if they lose 20 pounds,
that's still a success.
Oh, the moment they walk without weighing them, I say, oh, you must have lost, you look very good. Yes, Dr. Kaul, I lost so much, but how can I lose more?
My next question which just came to my mind is there any relationship between the diet and cancer?
Yes, in fact, in one of the segments I'm presenting that topic, there is no direct relationship. I have myself done research on that with the human studies. I did the prostate, I did the cancer research, and it's not direct. You say if you eat this, you'll get cancer. It's an indirect relationship. And in prostate cancer, we did the food habits for last 20 years. But so far, the things which have been related to indirectly to cancer are high fat diet.
High fat diet, okay.
Breast cancer, prostate cancer is definitely high fat.
How about colon?
Colon, yeah, it's related. Other thing is we want to have high fiber in cancer, in preventing cancer, because the high fiber.
So give me some example of the food that you should eat that will allow you to have high fiber. Lentils is one of them.
Lentil is excellent. Protein, fiber, and vegetables, fruits. If you keep that 70% of your diet, and it definitely. And now we are getting more and more talk about phytochemicals.
What is it?
Phytochemicals.
Okay.
They have even make supplements. Phytochemicals is from the outside layers of the fruits and vegetables. They're not digested, but they have a chemical, something in them naturally, which has been shown to protect against cancer. They act as scavengers. Scavengers mean they remove the bad part of cancer, to say in the simplest language.
And when you say talk about the fruit, you're talking about the apple, the oranges, and
Yeah.
what about bananas?
Bananas,
Mangoes?
yeah, bananas are very high in potassium, and if you are hypertension and taking diuretics, bananas are excellent source of potassium.
Mangoes?
Mangoes are good, but if somebody comes with diabetic, I tell them to limit because it has more sugar.
Okay, so
See, for example, diabetics, I'll say take berries, strawberry, cranberry, but
yeah,
as many, 1 cup of berries every day.
is there any relationship for eating the vegetables, which is for example, spinach and the salad and things like that? Is there any relationship with that in terms of the diet? Because people think it's a lot better to eat a lot of fiber, which is the spinach is one of them, the bean is second one.
No, spinach is excellent, but when you cook it, don't overcook it, because if you throw the water, you're throwing water-soluble vitamins.
Okay.
These days, you can even eat in salad. I just put little olive oil and saute to make it tasty. Or you might just put it, their bags now, clean bags, you put in, make holes, put in microwave. Spinach is very, very healthy food.
What about kale?
Kale these days, everywhere you
What
find
about cabbage?
Yeah, all these are good. Cruciferous.
Broccoli?
Excellent.
So those are good stuff.
So you should have green, yellow vegetable every day, beans, you know, mix all these vegetables.
What about in South Asian, which is the Indian American, eat a lot of rice.
Yes.
Is that bad? Is it good for you?
Well, depends.
Or the bread? Which one would you prefer if you have to take?
Nothing is bad. It's the moderation.
Moderation.
Moderation. If you are like, I'm from Kashmir, they're from Bengali, it's my comfort food. When I go home and bowl of rice.
Bowl of rice.
With vegetables, I feel, oh, I got nirvana. But
you are in the heaven.
Yeah, that's my comfort food. Some people it's apple pie. But rice in the quantity, well, we'll say 1 cup. But
you think a brown rice is better than the basmati rice?
Brown is better than white, but then some people cannot digest brown rice.
You're right.
Because like I personally have problem with high fiber foods, but
Okay.
like diabetics, I tell them to take brown rice and just cut it down to, I see how much their glucose is controlled,
Okay.
but take less brown.
What about the carbohydrate like pasta?
Pasta, you can overdo it, sometimes especially if you eat out. To make it so tasty, they put a lot of butter and salt.
And that's bad for your health.
Yeah. And you will see suddenly your weight, if you weigh once a week, you'll see your weight gain. Because the excess pasta, excess carbohydrate is converted to fat, as I say, into your savings account. So you get started saving in your arms or thighs. So if you are eating pasta, it is the portion size is very important. If you go to cafeteria or buffets, they throw pasta, you say, well, it starts, you fill the plate. You have eaten like 1,000 calories there.
1,000 calories.
But if you like pasta, I never say no to any food.
In the South Asian community that just watching, they eat a lot of goat meat, lamb meat, sheep. Some of them eat beef also. So if you have to sort of choose between, obviously they should eat chicken and fish, which is good for your health. But if you have to choose between make a selection between the lamb and goat and a beef and a sheep, what would you recommend?
Goat has the lowest fat.
Okay, very well said.
Yeah.
And that's
but
about
some
South Asian.
people may not find it delicious, but if you cook goat and if you like curry, it tastes good. It has less fat.
And the
lamb is very high in fat, and beef will depend from which cut it is.
So what about a good filet mignon?
Yeah, if you enjoy, eat it.
Okay.
Because I never say no.
Because
to
that
my
doesn't have any
patients.
fat in it.
Even if there is some, eat, enjoy.
Okay.
But do in moderation.
That's a good way.
Moderation is important, even if it's a no-no food, you love it, take it in moderation so that you are not dreaming all the time, well, if I had that food, life would be great.
Well, I want to thank you for all this advice. I know the audience admire what you do and appreciate your recommendation in terms of a healthy and happy living, which means controlling your diet. Make sure you say eat everything in moderation, even drink in moderation also, and also make sure to stay away from fattening food, which is what you suggested to do. So that's a great advice. I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for your advice, and thank you for what you do for our country and our community. And it's a great service to our community as well. So this is Frank Islam, wishing you a great week, and thank you for watching